Hello, auction lovers. This is Sherry Truler with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you for joining me today, where we are talking about coming to your senses to sell silent auction donations. And I say silent auction, but really this is for any of your charity auction donation items. It's just that the examples I'm going to be giving you are more silent auction oriented. But it's about showing and letting people taste and touch and feel. It's all about that sensory experience. And before I kind of dive into the content here, those of you that have followed me for a while know that I came out of a corporate marketing background. These companies spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars trying to understand how shoppers will buy something, why they will buy something, what they need to provide to get that transaction to happen. And so I say, why not jump on their backs and use that marketing expertise for your own benefit to have a stronger return on investment in your charity auction. So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. Now, when we're talking about the five senses, we've got sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. We also have extrasensory perceptions, and we're not talking about those today, but certainly if you like to meditate, then I would suggest you meditate on a good auction. Put those positive thoughts into the future so that you can experience them. But let's start here with something that we're all familiar with, the shopping mall. Let's say that you are going to the shopping mall because you need to buy a blouse for a suit. And so you're going to the store, pick a store, one of the anchor stores there, JCPenney. You walk into JCPenney and you find a shirt, but you're like, well, I like this, but I want to see what everybody else has to offer. So you leave JCPenney and you start to head out into the mall. You start to head out into that valley of temptation where there's all these other stores out there. And I know that one of the stores that you will cross is the cookie store. You start to smell all of these wonderful scents coming out of the cookie store. You see the people over there who bought the cookie and they're pulling it apart and all the gooey chocolate is like stretching across from one piece of the cookie to the other. You know, that is becoming a sensory experience for you. It's hitting your olfactory glands. It's starting to make your mouth salivate. So that's one example of where they're using it. Before you even purchase, they're using this experience to get you to buy. The same is true of these lotion and potion stores, right? We've got like the Body Shop and Bath and Body Works and that Provence store, blah, blah, blah. I can't think of what it's called. But anyway, you know, you'll smell lavender, and you'll smell, my favorite is ginger, or you'll smell these citrus scents, depending on the season, and they're just wafting out there into the mall to invite you in. And then when you go in, they usually have a sink there where you can try like the exfoliants, and you can scrub your hands down and then put on these rich lotions. And I know last time I was in one of those and I was back home, I took my brother and my dad in there and scrubbed their hands down and put lotion on them and so forth. That's the experience. They're allowing their shoppers to experience their products before they decide to buy. Try before you buy. So let's see how this plays out in your benefit auction. Here we've got an apple strudel found nowhere else is what the sign says. I like that. So what do? They put out the apple strudel so you can try it and see it and taste it and smell it and do all these wonderful things with it before you buy. Great example there. Here's another one, famous chocolate chip cookies. Look at there, ready to try before you buy. Right there with the cookie jar as well. Here's one that happened just this past Saturday at an auction, and I'm so angry because I forgot to take a photo of it. Ugh! I can't believe it. It's the first time I've seen it too. It was deer jerky. And this shot, I was going through my photos thinking I had a shot of it. I didn't. The closest I came is this was a shot that was taken just a few minutes after the doors opened for the silent auction, and they hadn't put out the beef jerky or the deer jerky yet. It was right there is where it was later. But a huge pile of deer jerky, and how perfect is that? Because, you know, a lot of people have probably had jerky of one sort or another, but not necessarily deer jerky. And they might not be willing to buy unless they've tried it and know that they like it. So they put out a plate of deer jerky, and sure enough, that garnered several bids. Great example there. If you're selling a band, don't you want to hear what the band sounds like? I mean, granted, if you are like totally connected and you are selling a band everybody knows, you know, you've got U2 on the table, or REM, or Rolling Stones, or Lady Gaga. Okay, you don't need to have the CD out there maybe to sell it. But for a lot of bands that are maybe good, but they just aren't known locally or not that well locally, you know, like here's one, Chris Winter Band. I don't know this band in where I live, but in this town, they wanted to make sure people understood what kind of genre he was. So they put the CD player out there. This was 3 years ago. Now they probably would have a MP3 player out there. But they put the CD out there so you could listen to the band before you decided to bid on the item and book them for your next party over the next 12 months. And here's one, compost. Black Gold Texas tea. Oil, that is. For those of you who know that Beverly Hillbillies, you know what I'm referring to there. So here we have Black Gold compost. And for us gardeners, doesn't that look fabulous? You can put that in the ground. You're going to have wonderful flowers and vegetables this summer. But look, you can taste that. You can smell it. You know, some people eat dirt. There's a condition that I can't remember what the disease or what it's called, but some people eat dirt. Sometimes pregnant women eat dirt. But so anyway, with that, it's fabulous looking, and it allows you to touch it and taste it. It's just a way to help sell that compost. Here's some examples. Now, this was for display only, so you were kind of cut down on the sensory experience, but visually it looks great, does it not? And then here was one, oh, this was being sold 12 desserts, a dessert for a month for 12 months. But when you walked into the silent auction area, you just smelled this chocolate. And it was like, where is that? Where is that? And I'm not even a chocolate person. I'm not really a fan of chocolate. But this cake, which must have weighed like 20 pounds, it was unbelievably huge. But it just, the scent that it put off was so rich that the whole silent auction area had this chocolate aroma to it. So it certainly engaged the bidders and drew them in. So if you're looking for other great ways to engage bidders and more or less get a higher return on investment in your charity auction, head over to the website. That's at redappleauctions.com, where my free gift for you is what sold like a gem in 2010. It's 100 of the items that I sold for overvalue last year. It's wonderful for procurement, getting ideas on what you should be targeting in order to have a great event. I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you for joining me, auction lovers, and I will be back next week with another video. Have a great event.